was larger than this one here.
Yes.
That run from Nicole was so good.
Beautiful art as well, by the way.
Exactly.
Just look at that
魚テレビジョン
picture
が
right there.
進
It's
行
so
させて
pretty.
いた
The
だ
game
き
itself
ま
is
す。
so
よろしくお
pretty,
願いい
and
た
I
し
think
ます。
that Caslin did an amazing job
続
capturing
い
how
ての
gorgeous that
ゲ
game
ー
is
ムが
here
スケートゲーター
on the
3D という
frame.
ことで、
And we also have a second wall
ね、
art sent
ワ
in
ニ
to us
が
by Caslin of you and Kay, the
スケートをす
protagonists
る
of
ゲ
the
ーム
game.
と
I
いう
believe
情
they're
報
siblings.
のみ、
I have no idea.
私は
Well,
存
they're
じ上
both
げてい
right
るので
there
すが、
for a $10
こちらの
minimum
ゲームま
donation.
だ
You can
解
enter
説の
into
方がい
each
らっ
of
しゃいません。
those.
も
There'll
しこの
be
ゲームをご存知の方
There would
い
be a
らっ
lot
しゃい
more
まし
prizes
た
that we're
ら、
going to talk about
ね、チ
further
ャット
throughout the
に
week.
情報を
They're
書
on
いてい
their
ただく
way.
か、
In
ま
fact, our
た、
grand prize that we talk about, that we're going to talk about later, is also
解
on the way.
説者
Before
募
we get
集、
there, I want to
随
talk
時
about
行
another
っ
way to
てお
present
り
a
ます
prize.
ので、そちら
Please
の方に
hold the
ご応
diagram
募いただければなと
Okay.
思います。
Maybe like this?
はい、そうですね。で、
Interesting.
現
So
在、
we had this
ゲーム
absolutely
と
gorgeous
ゲームの
Kirby
間の
Whiskey
時間
Woods
帯に
diorama
何
that
か、
Kay Duffels
たく
sent
さん
in
グ
to
ッ
us.
ズの
It's one
紹
of
介
two
を
prizes
してい
that Kay
る、
Duffels sent in to
まあ、
us.
コー
We're
ナ
going to
ー
talk about them both in a
に
second.
なってい
But
るんですけれども、こち
you
ら
see
の
the
方はですね、
felt of the grass here.
一定
Kirby
額の
himself,
寄
he's
付
going
を行う
hi.
と、
In
ま
the
あ、
felt, we have
抽
the
選で
tree,
これらのグ
Wispy
ッズを
Woods
もらえる
himself.
か
You
も
know
しれ
what?
ないという
Which
こと
Wispy
で、
Woods?
I
There's
don't
so
know.
many Wispy
まあ、
Woods.
I don't
合
know.
間合
I'm
間
not going
に
to tell you
紹介
because I
を
don't have to
挟んでい
answer it.
る
I'm
という
keeping
よう
guessing.
な、
He's made out of clay.
海の
The
向こう
apple's
の、
made out of clay. You see
ま
a
あ、
little bit of hot glue
AGD
making
休
up the
憩
tier
列
of
の
Wispy
イベン
Woods.
ト
You
で
can
は、
just hit him with a
まあ、
star.
恒例となっている
And the base itself is another way, is a way that
コー
Kay
ナー
Duffels
になっ
kept you
てい
guessing.
ます
You
ね。
might think, oh, that's got to be like
プライ
clay or
ズ
felt
と
or
呼ば
something.
れること
Listen
が
to
多い
this.
です。
I don't know if that came through,
I could hear that.
but
So
it is an actual log,
そう
the thing that
いろん
trees
な
are made of. I'm not going to keep you guessing on
大
that one. I'm
体
just going to
そ
tell
の
you
イ
because
ベ
I
ントで
saved
披
you
露さ
new.
れる
Signed by Kay
ゲーム
Duffels in
に
the
関
bottom.
連した
Now, I like the
も
way
の
that you were
が
trying to
多
do
く
this. You
て、
were trying to keep it still
今、
here,
そうです
right?
ね、
You
ソ
were
ファー
like,
に乗っ
yeah,
てい
I
る
want
のが
people to
フ
be
ァイ
able
ナ
to
ル
see
ファ
it.
ンタジ
But
ーのプラッシーという
by
ことで、
doing
こ
that,
ち
you
ら
know what you
も
didn't
お
do?
そらく、
I didn't
まあ、
keep
販
him
売品
guessing.
とかではなく
The
て、
proper way to
どな
present a
たか
prize
が
is to move it
作られ
all
た、
over the
まあ、フ
place.
ァンメールグッ
Introduce
ズなのか
motion
な
into
と
the
いうよう
frame.
な感
Make
じ
the
です。
camera operators work. Keep them guessing. And keep us guessing about the next thing we're going to show off, which is also from Kay
ね、
Duffels.
先ほ
We have
ど
the
ね、
Kirby
披
Squeak
露
Squad,
されてい
Kirby
た
Squeak Squad Trinket
ヘイブン
Chest.
の
That is very hard to say.
ウォールアートなんかもあって、
Now,
非常に
a traditional way
今
to
回
present a
の
prize
プ
would
ライ
be
ズ
to
も
put
多
it
岐に
directly
わ
in
たって
front of,
見
I
てくる
lost
だ
a
けで
pillow
も
off the
楽し
couch,
いなという
directly in front of
感じ
Sephiroth's
があ
face
り
here,
ます。
the way we all know and love to present prizes. But I think I want to put it in front of my face. And you want to know why? That they say that the eyes are the window to the prize. And by putting it in front of my face, performing a human connection here, you're going, May, I know that I really want that Kirby Squeak Squad Trinkets chest. And I know that you know that. And I'm looking you in the eyes and I'm saying, it could be yours for a $25 minimum donation. You know what's inside of it? I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to keep guessing.
What about what's inside the prize?
I don't know. We'll have to find, maybe we'll find out later. This isn't the last prize segment we have later. In fact, there's going to be more prize segments coming up and more prizes for the rest of the week. And what really sucks about this is that I really just want to keep talking about prizes all day. How about
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I do too, because I love seeing all the craftsmanship that people have. Plus, we keep the audience guessing.
Exactly. And there's one final tip that I want to tell you to really maximize the prize presenting experience, the way the amount of time you can present prizes. Because the more time we have to present prizes, the more prizes we can show off. And the Frame Fatales community is so incredible at sending in all of these gorgeous prizes, as well as it's just the craftsmanship and the love for everything FF does and everything we're doing for the National Women's Law Center is just so incredible. And so my last tip for you is that if you don't stop talking, they can't stop you from presenting prizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep walking back here, and I'm going to make the producers work a little bit so that they don't have the time to tell me to stop talking about prizes, okay? This is a prize filibuster. I'm going to keep them guessing about the time I'm going to stop talking. Between you and me, it's going to be never. I'm going to say, go to gamesdonequick.com and see all the prizes. They have to show a thing. That takes time. I'm going to say, go to gamesdonequick.com/donate and donate to win all the prizes we saw. $25 minimum $25 donation gets you in to win every single one of those. That took time to show that thing. I'm going to say go to gamesdonequick.com/schedule to see the schedule, all the amazing runs we have coming up for the rest of the week, assuming I give them the opportunity to do that and don't stop talking about prizes. In fact, I think I found a prize right here. We got Kirby's!
ということで、プライズ紹介のコーナーが終わりまして、もうそろそろで次のゲーム始まるかなといったところですね。カービィ出たら終わった。そうカービィの素敵なペイントが 手に入れられるかもしれない。そんなね、寄付をするといいことがあるよっていうコーナーで。
To the speed runs, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm Pacific. I'm going to be
い
your
や、で
host
も
for
ね、
next
あれ
few
な
runs
ん
of
ですよ。
Frostbite
そ
Tales
の、
2024
披露されないゲームでもたまに入ってるような気がするので、今回 QWOP はあるかもしれないし、ないかもしれない。スケジュールを見れば。
We've seen so many amazing games so far today, and we have tons of fantastic games coming up. A reminder to everybody, the Pick the Costume Bid War will be closing very, very soon. So if you'd like to get a last minute come from behind for that incentive, now is the time, because Skator Gator 3D is coming up next. And thank you again all for your wonderful donations towards the Women's Law Center. I have a couple of amazing anonymous donations, $75 from Anonymous with no comment and $25 from Anonymous with no comment. And then a $50 donation from M the Marvelous saying, please do not fail to read this comment. Okay, did I do it? Great. Thank you all so much for your wonderful donations. It's all going to such an amazing cause, and thank you so much for your support. Again, our next run, Skator Gator 3D, will be ready very shortly, so please don't go anywhere. And everybody, we have a couple more bid wars. We've got the name the fighter, the first mage, the monk, and the second mage for our Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. A reminder, we have 2 runners for that game. So that means that the first and the second options for each of those incentives will be picked. That's a total of like 8 options that you can vote for. Did I do the math right? Check my math, everybody.
ゲームに対する選択肢を選べる、ちょっとした催しみたいなものが設定されておりまして、はい、こちらの仕組みはですね、特定の選択肢に対してどれだけの寄付額が集まったかによって、例えば、ゲーム内のキャラクターの衣装を決めるであったり、難易度を変えたり、本当はやる必要はないんだけれども楽しいイベントを行いに行ったりという、ちょっとした、ね、お楽しみ要素があるゲームがございます。ゲートゲーター 3D では、衣装がビットウォーの対象に選択されているので、ね、一体ワニくんがワニちゃんかもしれないですけど何を着てくれるか、見てのお楽しみといったところになります。
We have another really cute game. Here comes Nico. We got a little bit of a back-to-back cozy block here. Anybody here like cozy games in the chat? I love them. Grab your blanket, grab a nice, lovely hot drink, because we're about to get real nice and cozy in
フロスト
here.
ファタールズ、これからも続けてみるよという方は、ビットウォーの内容に注目してみるともっと楽しめるかもしれません。
And coming up after Here Comes Nico, we have Passere doing Disney's 102 Dalmatians, Puppies to the Rescue. That is an all-levels task, which I have never seen a task for this run before. TAS stands for Tool Assisted Speed Run. Oftentimes it's a computer program. You get to see some incredible stuff. Usually they're set up to do things that are thought to be beyond human capabilities. They're really fun to watch if you've never seen a task. Definitely check that one out. And Passere is such a great speed runner. This is going to be a real treat for y'all. And first time I'm seeing this in a marathon. And don't forget, we've got some wonderful support going on. We've got the Yeti and Fangamer and Humble all supporting us right now. Make sure to check out the incredible Frostbite Tales collections. If you want to get some t-shirts, some lovely swag, there's a lovely patch over there too from the Yeti. Make sure to check that out for sure. Those are going to be available this week. And a portion of the profits will go towards the National Women's Law Center. we have a $25 donation from Happy already saying, I believe our Queen of Kaizo, Shoujo, is volunteering somewhere over there. So this is for Emily and all the audio staff. Thank you so much for that donation, Happy. And oh my gosh, thank you so much to all of our audio staff. They are really, truly incredible. They're doing such a great job helping this go so smoothly. And they're just such a wonderful team. Thank you so much for the love, Happy. We got so much love pouring in from the donations. Thank you, everybody, for the support. $50 from Eldritch with no comment. Thank you so much. $35 from Crimson Decoded, also with no comment. Thank you again for your support for the National Women's Law Center. And again, everybody, we're just finishing setting up for Skator Gator 3D. Again, we have the Pick the Costume bid war, which will be ending very soon. So make sure to get any last-minute donations in that you want for that. We will be ready to go very shortly.
もうそろそろ始まりそうな雰囲気
All
があ
right,
ります
everybody, the
ね。
time has come. Thank you so much. And we are ready to get going with our next speed run. We have Skator Gator 3D Any Percent by Alice and 8-Bit. Whenever you're ready, Ali.
Hi everybody, welcome on
画面
in.
がキー
I'm
変わりま
Alice
した
and
ね
8-Bit. I'm joined with Cracked Silver.
Hello.
And we're going to be showing you Skator Gator 3D, a really cool game that I ran previously in a
現
race
代を感じる
back in
ビジ
AGDQ.
ュアルですが、
We're going to just jump right in here in just a moment, but just double checking what is the winner of the
何がス
skin
ケー
bid
トを
war.
するという以外は全く
We
情
have
報がないので、
Frog Fan as the
皆さんと
winner.
一緒に
That's what I saw.
楽しんで見ていこうかな
Alrighty.
と
So
go,
we're gonna
frog
start.
よろ
fans.
しくお願いします。
All right, I'm going to count us down. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so this is Skator Gator 3D. This is a cute little 3D platformer, super short, and it's got two primary movements that we do. The first is on rails. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with the rail movement here, including heavy uses of these dashes. You got to be careful not to overdash, or you can just fall straight into water.
You gotta bless the run somehow.
Exactly. When you're dashing, you can't do things like jump or switch your rails, so it's a little bit dangerous to do too many of them. But it's not too bad. There's also these more open 3D segments, which give us a lot of options
ス
for
ケート
movement.
ボードでいうと
Recently,
こ
you
ろ
saw like
の
that little
ス
jump
ラ
I
イ
did
ドっ
right
てい
there,
う
where there's like some stars coming
ガ
out
チガ
behind
チ
me.
なトリックを
That
割
is
と
a
進めて
super,
ます
and that's intended speed tech. We're gonna be using that pretty much everywhere because it's some of the fastest stuff we can do.
国家的な見た目に反してかなりスピ
First level.
ードが
Yeah, so Skator Gator 3D is a level-based platformer. For getting into the run, there is a set of staff times that you can race against that use a mix of strats that Ali is going to be going for that are dev intended, as well as we do several additional things that the staff times do not account for. For instance, in the second level here, in just a moment, we're going to be coming up on the only beneficial glitch in the speedrun, a trick known as teledashing. Ali's going to approach a boost panel in this open 3D section, and by
す
pausing on
ご
it,
い距離をかっ飛
you
んでい
can
くから
gain
見応えがあり
uncapped
ます。
speed through the pause, which zips you forward in the level. There are a couple of teledashes across the run. They are our biggest source of like time save in the open 3D platforming sections.
Yeah, we're gonna do as many as we can. There's a few that don't get us anywhere. And there's a few that if we miss, it's not too bad. This one specifically is probably the hardest one to hit. We'll see if I get that.
Nice.
スタイリッシ
And
ュアリ
in
ゲー
most
ター
cases, the
確かに
alternate strategy for not hitting the teledash is you just take the boost pad as normal and proceed with the level. There's one teledash a little bit later in the run that has some stuff to navigate after hitting the teledash. But here we're up on our first quote-unquote boss fight. With the exception of the final boss, the Trader Gator fights here are actually auto-scrollers. We just need to survive until Trader Gator leaves for a moment. So now is a great time for any messages or donations from our lovely host.
Hi there, yeah. I've got $25 from Lady Mel saying, Had to make my first donation during the Skator Gator 3D run. Allison and the Fake Tiles have been incredibly supportive, and I sincerely appreciate them helping me get into running this game. It's been so much fun and so good for me in general. Go Allison! Don't fall in the Baja Blast.
So now it is sunset. All the boss stages are going to transition from one time of day to another. And so here we're going to be making our way to some more rail segments. And it's going to be a little bit more dangerous now. There's like more enemies. Now there's fire hazard if you stay in there too long. So we're going to be careful to just try to make our way through this level as quickly as possible. There's a nice little shortcut that we're going to be taking over here. And it's going to skip about half the level.
Yeah, the game is very kind with approaching rail grinding sections from
そうですね、なんか
unintended directions and
見
just
た
snaps
限
you right
り
back onto
お
the
そら
rails,
く
which we exploit thoroughly.
普通のプレイだったら通らないんだろうな
And
って
in
いう
this
距
next
離をジャンプ
level,
で飛ん
as
でるあ
the
たり
loading screen
何かし
text
らのテク
so
ニックが
helpfully points
ありそうな
out,
感じ
in
はあります
Unshocking
ね。
Ally, we meet our new best friend, the eel. Eels are a time-based power-up. You'll see a timer at the bottom of Ally's screen here that has two effects. One, by dashing, Green Dragon generates a shield that you can use to dash through other like enemies and hazards. As well, when you swap lanes with an eel active in a rail grinding section, a projectile will shoot out. And this will actually be our single source of damage for the final boss fight down the line. But for right now, most of its use is going to be the shield that you get just by mashing dash.
おそらく業者さん
And
の
here we actually have like a little spot where it's kind of tricky because like the cycles just are not kind to
あの
us.
さっき
So we just
ワ
damage
ニ
tank
君の周り
through.
にぐるぐる回ってたの
You
は
can sometimes squeeze
Unagi
through or do some other things to get around it. Very difficult. We don't usually get those, so we
ワ
just
ニも
damage
ス
tank
タイ
most
リ
of
ッ
the
シュ
time.
であれば
And so now we're in the
も
Twilight Town, which is actually really cool. This is a level that's like casually has like a bunch of things going on. And there's like a big open area for exploration and finding everything throughout the level. But what we're going to do is go over here and see this little tire. And tires are bouncy, so we're going to bounce across it. This is going to skip pretty much all of this level, which is like normally a super
おそらく
long run.
ルート的に
Just like that, we finish it.
用意されてるパイプを無視してるような
And
の
so this
で
next level has like a really
なんか
interesting thing at the
何
start
か
where
テ
you
クニ
need
ックを
to
使って飛距離を伸ばしている感じがあります
pretty much jump over as quickly as possible because it slows down their spawn so you can stay on the rail. Otherwise, you can jump over the guy that's trying to attack you there. If you do that, it is a bit slower. Jumping is one of the slowest things you can do on the rail outside of taking damage. And so we're going to take another tire boost over here, and we're going to do a dash right from here.
Clean.
Probably my favorite stage. And now we're doing a shortcut with a bunch of rooftops.
And so, as Ali mentioned earlier,
ahead.
you get a little bit of extra height as well as a little bit of extra speed when you super jump, which is chaining a jump out of a dash. That rooftop segment is probably the cleanest example of just chaining several of them together to get through a largely dev-intended shortcut there.
And now we are once again on a
マージングエフェク
boss
ト
stage,
っていう
which is just an auto-scroller, so any more messages? Talia, have time for
Absolutely.
two or three?
周りを回
Yeah,
ってたので
definitely.
電
Thank
気
you
う
so
な
much.
ぎみたいな
We have a $50 donation from Soul, who says, much love from the Indie Book Game Club. Congatorats on getting into the game. Time to teledash your way to Trader Gator's
カ
heart.
エルかと思ったらワニああそうですね
Also,
こちら
so
の
thank
ゲ
you
ー
so
ム
much for that
ワニ
wonderful
がス
donation.
ケ
I
ートをす
have
る
some great news for
スケート
everybody too.
スケ
who's
ーター
looking
ゲーター
for an incentive to
3D という
donate
ゲームらしいです
towards because we just opened up
た
our
だ
15 puzzle first to 5 race for Final Fantasy Pixel
の
Remaster, which is
結果で
coming up a little later. So after the Final Fantasy
カエル
Pixel Remaster
関連の
race, the runners are going
コ
to
スチュームに着
compete
替えるとい
in
う
a first to 5 15 puzzle meme
項目
race
があった
for
の
the
で
ultimate
こ
bragging
の後もし
rights.
かしたらカエルっ
That's
ぽ
a
い見た目になるか
$3,000
もしれ
goal.
ません
Let's make it there by the time we get to the end of Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster.
Alrighty, so now we're at nighttime. So this is the last couple levels here. And we're going to be getting our last power-up that you're going to see here in just a
カラーリ
second.
ングが似てるので
Yes, Green Jamin is evolving into winged Green Jamin.
確かにカエルに見えな
As
くもな
Ali
いかも
picks up
しれま
these
せん
consumable wings in a second. Wings are just a consumable double jump. there is a bit of an unfortunate interaction that we are going to take care not to run afoul of, which is, like many platformers, Skater Gator 3D has Coyote Time, which is for a brief moment after you walk off of a ledge, the game still considers you to be legally grounded, so you can jump. Unfortunately, there is an occasional interaction where if you jump in your Coyote Time, you do still lose a wing. So you can see an inventory counter at the bottom of the screen there that Ali's going to be managing, because having an extra wing makes some of this platforming a lot tougher.
Yeah, and as you saw, like the wings are really powerful. They let you skip like an entire big movement segment. And we have another spot over here where they're going to do even more wild things for us. Start by us collecting a bunch of them right over here.
Yeah, this is the level where you really want to manage wing count, although with super jumps we can clear a lot of this platforming without having to burn wings in the process, which is a good thing because at the end of this level is the somewhat special teledash that I mentioned earlier. At the end of this level, there's a teledash that the game tries to sort of course correct Grangeman in a way where it pushes him backwards like that. So by burning a couple wings at the end, Ali is able to jump back forward and make it to the end of the level without falling into the drink there.
And now we are in the final platforming segment, where there's a huge skip that we're going to be doing. It saves about half the level. We're taking a little detour today.
Yeah, so first let's talk about the skip itself. After this checkpoint, Ali's going to grab a wing and then teledash off one of these boost pads here. When you exit the teledash, you are still in your Coyote Time. So we're going to land a Coyote jump out of the teledash. And we're going to peek at this little friend here.
Hey, have you ever heard of AGDQ? I'm pretty sure it stands for Awesome Gators Done Quick. The greatest competitors go head to head on stage.
いつの間にかレッドブルを飲んだのか翼を授けられたんですかね。
Some truly inspiring stuff that I'm glad to have an opportunity to see. That's a little Easter egg.
Yeah, shoutouts to Shovel and Oz, who are also part of the race at AGDQ, as well as shoutouts to Weathered Sweater. Ali is playing on a beta patch of the game. This was just obviously recently added. We love, love, love supportive indie devs.
Awesome Gator Done.
That's so awesome.
なるほど。
Love that they
And
did that.
so,
もしかして AGDQ
so now
は
I'm finishing up this level.
ゲームじゃなくてゲーターだったのかもしれないで
The
す
big
ね。
thing is like that little last segment is really tight. Not
羽
only
が
do
生
you
え
need
て
to
て
do
も
that
取れ
trick
ない
to
と
get
いう
on top of the
そうで
barrel,
す
but
ね。
once you're on top of it, you need to
もしかしたらカエルじゃなくてドラゴンになる
do a
まあで
wing
もね
jump out of a super jump
ス
with
ケートは
very
してますから
specific
ね。
like
あ、
spacing and timing. But got that pretty
なん
good.
か落ちてい
And
っ
now this
た。
is the final stage. This is Trader Gator.
Yeah, this has been a
penalty
super
and a little bit.
clean run so far. Like
Daijoubu.
minus the detour for the AGDQ shoutouts.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna go for a little trick here, which is, so we have a quick kill, which is the standard. But recently, because this game is part of the game of the month, I missed it. We actually had a new trick found where you can actually save one cycle and get one extra orb.
Yeah, if you want to run this game, Ali wants to teach you this game. It is Game of the Month in the Fatals Discord for one more month. And time is coming up. It's as soon as Ali grabs the deed. Time.
All right.
これで
Yeah,
Job.
タイマーが止まりましたね。
Thank you, thank you.
Good game.
This game has been great. I ran it as a race in Awesome Games Done Quick, and now I get to show it off here as well. It's a fantastic game. If you're in the Fatal Discord, you want to run this game, or just want to learn in general, it is the game of the month right now for us. And I just made a tutorial on my Twitch channel where I stream fairly often,
し
and
れっと
it's just been a blast to like play this game and show this game with some people. It's just super cute. It's got some bangers in it. Like, it's just a fantastic game,
あーと片
and I
付け
couldn't
をしてい
recommend it
る。
more for anybody. And then again, it's a $5 indie game. Everyone should go pick up a copy. That's simple.
All right. Thank you so much, Allison, for that incredible run. Any
い
final
やーよかったです
shoutouts
ね。
or want to let people know where they can
最
find
後
you?
戦ってた相手とも和解して一緒に掃除をしておしまいというそんなゲームだったというわけですね。はい、
All right,
というわけ
everybody.
でスケー
Thank
タ
you
ーゲ
again
ータ
so
ー
much, Allison. Can we get some love in the
3D、
chat for
80%
that
の
great
ランを、
run of Skator Gator 3D?
ご覧いただきました。
Thank you so much for all of your support we've got coming in. We have a $25 donation from Chumpy saying, so happy to see
Qatar
another wonderful event underway.
ね、まだ
Big
まだ
thanks to all the runners and everyone behind the scenes that makes this possible. Lesson 3. Thank you, Chumpy, so much for your donation. A reminder again, this is all going towards the National Women's Law Center. We have more incredible games coming up for you, so make sure not to go anywhere.
私実はあまり、存じ上げないゲームではあるんですけれども、タイトルから推察するにおそらく101匹ワンちゃんの続編の
Alright, everybody, we have a special
ワンちゃ
interview
ん
for you all coming up, so
言い
sit
づらい
tight
ですね。
and get
101
ready
匹ワンちゃん
to
の
enjoy
続
that
編の
interview.
映画を元にした、ゲームかと。
Hello, everyone.
Omarimasu.
Welcome back to Frost Fatales 2024.
こちら、
I
解
am here
説の
with the
方、
wonderful Passeray.
そう
I
です
believe this is
ね。
our first runner interview of the
お待
event.
ちください。
So, Passeray, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are
こち
you?
らは
I'm doing
解
good as
説
well.
の
Thank you.
方は、
So, I'm here to talk to you about 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue. A run that I noticed that you had
違
run
った違った。
previously for
102
HQ2023.
匹ワンちゃ
But
んの
this
前
time,
に、
you're back with a TAS, I
あ、
understand.
そうですそうです。失礼い
So
たしま
what
した。
made you decide
次
to
のゲー
test
ム
this
が
game?
です
Because I
ね、
noticed that
Here
you've run
Comes
other
Nico
games such as
というゲームにな
Stray,
ります。
Casper
その
Scare
次が
School,
102匹
Paper
ワンちゃん
Mario,
に
even the Dog
なり
Islands,
ます
which is
ね。
a game I
大変
wasn't
失礼いたし
expecting
ま
to
した
see on the list.
Here Comes Nico こち
So what
ら
made you
もまだま
decide
だ、
out of all the
実
games you've
は
run to
解
test
説の方い
102
らっしゃいませ
Dalmatians
んの
Puppies to the
で、
Rescue?
First of all, I guess
このゲームについ
102
てご
Dalmatians
存知
is
の
the
方
game
は
that
チャットに書き
I've
込んでい
definitely
た
spent
だ
the
く
most
か、
time on. It's
また
the
は、
first. It's not the
解
first
説者
keyword I
応募
tried
フ
to
ォーム
learn,
か
but
ら
it's the first one that I stuck with because it's just it's a lot of
応
fun
募事項を
for
お
a
読
beginner
みい
or
ただ
for
いた
someone
上
who's
で
really advanced at
ご応
it.
募
Like
いた
there's
だくこと
tricks
で
that
飛び
go
入りで
from
も
you know
解
really
説とし
easy
て
to really
参加
complicated
いただく
frame
こと
perfect
が
things
可
and
能
then
です。
TAS only
ぜひ、
things as you're going to see in the
この
TAS.
ゲーム知ってるよ、遊んだことがある
So
よという
it's
方
always
は
been the one
ね、
that I've invested a lot
一緒
into
に
just because it's so
ど
much
んなゲー
fun.
ムか
But
を
this is the
探りつ
fourth
つ、
version of the 102 Dalmatians all levels TAS.
ジャパニーズ
And
リストリー
so
ムでお楽
yeah,
しみい
so
ただ
what
ければな
happened
と
is
思います。よろしく
so
お
there were
願い
two
し
in
ます。
2017.
Oh,
There was
wow.
one in 2019.
それで
And
は
then、there's this
次
one.
のゲーム
This
の
is
準
the
備を
first
い
one
た
that
し
I'm
ま
working
す。
on actually.
準備
So
して
this
まいり
task
ま
is
すの
by
で、こ
Avuka
の
and
ま
I.
ま
And Avuka and I had
お
been
待ちくだ
working
さ
on a
い。
trainer for the PS1 version actually. So like a tool that you can use to load save states and manipulate things in the game, you know, turn off walls, things like that for practicing. And towards the end of the time when we were working on that, another runner, Jikarek, discovered this really crazy new trick that you could do in one of the levels called Underground. And it was pretty clear that it would be only for the task because you had to hit a very specific part in the wall going at a very high speed. And so we knew that that would save a lot of time. And when we finished up with the trainer, it was just kind of like, well, now the task needs updating. Think about how much time we can save with that. And so it just kind of like moved into that on its own.
Well, it answers one of my other questions I was going to ask, such as, well, what kinds of tricks are task exclusive versus just being able to do it in a normal run? But you answered it for me. So I was curious, what kind of process goes into making a task? You just sit down and, you know, work on it for long periods of time? Do you do like short bursts? Do you communicate with other people? What's your mentality and what do you do when going into a task and making one?
So like the very like most basic level of doing the task, you are manipulating the inputs on a frame by frame level. That makes it sound boring though. I mean, there's the whole big shape of it is not boring like that because it's kind of like solving a bunch of different types of puzzles. I mean, what's so cool about a task is that really like the sky's the limit in terms of what you can think of. Like all these crazy ideas that maybe you could like think of them when you're trying to route something that a human's going to do, but then you go into it, you're like, there's no way that anybody could do this. With a task that's possible. And what's really cool about doing a task is like you can think of these crazy ideas and then you can try them out, and then sometimes they're not even faster than what you already have, or maybe you realize it would be faster if we could figure out how to do this other thing. And so then this creates this new puzzle that now you have to figure out how do you do this other thing so that this really awesome route that you just came up with actually works and actually is faster. I mean, you can do it, you can sit down and work on it for hours if you want to. Maybe, you know, if it's a really, really great idea, if it's really like you need to get this out now, like, yeah, definitely sometimes it's a longer session. You can also just work on it for, you know, a few minutes at a time, just try things out.
Right. It sounds like it's a really fun collaborative puzzle with other people, especially from the sounds of it.
Yeah, so like,
I do like a good puzzle.
it's really awesome having other people to bounce ideas off of. I mean, I should have said, like, before the actual inputs were put in, there was a lot of like routing and coming up with ideas and brainstorming things for things that we were going to try to make this task better than the last one. And in the end, this one saved almost a minute over the previous task, which is pretty big for a short game.
Oh, wow.
Like this.
Yeah, I could see like the time of it is quite low. So that's really cool. One last question for you. Are there any other games you might be interested in making a task for in the future?
Yeah, so probably other PS1 games. I guess I should say, so I'm working with the same person on another task right now. Avuka and I are working on a task for a PS1 game called Dreams, which is like this obscure PAL-only kind of awful block game. Like, it's a really bizarre experience. And I hope the task is going to be pretty cool for that too.
Well, I'm sure it will. Thank you so much for joining me today on this interview. Please be sure to tune in for Passeur's run of 102 Dalmatians Puppies to the Rescue, a task that will be probably pretty incredible. I mean, I saw the time of that and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so cool. How do you do it? So be sure to tune in.
Thank you so much for that wonderful interview.